sorry,
Matt Irvin, not here. Karen Fitzpatrick here. Sarah Beth Drybread,
Here.
Kami Irvin,
Here.
Deborah Vaughn,
Here.
and Kathy Ham.
Here.
Approval of meeting minutes. Did everyone have a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting? Is there an acceptance?
I make a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second, even though I did them.
All in favor?
Aye.
The 2025 annual report.
Who wants to talk about that, Dustin?
I can just remind board members if you want me to, I'd be happy to.
Please.
So, board members, if you remember, we have to do this every year. NELO requires your board to report to the council and then the state of Indiana through a report that's submitted through Gateway about your activities of the previous year, funds you collected, any funds you expended on that end. So we've done this each year. And before it's presented to the council, you guys have an opportunity to review it and then adopt it. So that's what's in front of you today.
Did everyone have a chance to look over that in their packet?
Obviously, very good. Provided that somehow we answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Dustin? Do we need a motion?
I'll make a motion we adopt the 2025 annual report.
I second.
All approved? Or all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Baker Tilly 2025 TIF management report. Is that Dustin?
I can talk about this too if you want.
Okay. Or Scott?
Yeah, Scott's here.
Okay, and Scott can take it away, but this is very similar to what I just talked about. You have to have a report on your TIF activities. You can always have Baker Tilly assist us with that. And Scott's prepared the summary, so he's there. He can take it away.
Sure. Does everyone have the report in front of them?
I don't.
I can I have it here, but I don't have it to project unless you want to throw it on the screen. It's a relatively short report. It'll just take a few minutes to go through. It looks like it's right there on that recent. Oh, there it is. Okay, so as Dustin said, this is a statutorily required report on an annual basis. It's the April 15th report. We call it the 415 report because it's due April 15th each year. Here's just kind of a little, that's kind of hard to see. So, some of the reporting requirements that the Redevelopment Commission has. Each year, the court treasurer is required to prepare the fiscal report for the RDC. By April 15th, the TIF management report is due to be submitted to the RDC, provided by the court treasurer. After it's submitted to the RDC, then this presentation is also given to the council. That's a relatively new requirement. I think in 2024 they started the requirement that it had to be presented to the council. In June, excuse me, we'll work on your pass-through determinations. So the pass-through is any TIF that you collect that you decide to pass through to other units. Edinburgh has not decided to do that. The TIF is fully collected by the RDC and maintained within the TIF funds. But you still have to do those pass-through determinations, send them out to the overlapping taxing units and say, hey, we're not passing anything through. In August, we will work on the TIF neutralizations. That is where we neutralize the base assessed value of the TIF area. So we take the TIF area's base assessed value and essentially back out any trending. That way, trending isn't calculated in the growth of the TIF. So the TIF is only there to capture the new development in the area, not any trending. So if your property value goes up by 3% because that's just the trending of what's happening, we don't capture that in the TIF. That gets added back to the base and gets distributed to all of the overlapping tax units. The RDC spending plan will be prepared by December 1. This is again a relatively new requirement starting in 2024. Basically, it lays out how you're going to spend those TIF funds throughout the year, and any TIF spending that you have has to align with that spending plan. And then the RDC annual presentation to the other taxing units is on there annually as well. So this is kind of just a brief refresher of how TIF works. I think this is a good, I'll try to make everything a little bit bigger for you. So tax increment financing is a tool that, like I said, it captures new assessed value, not that trending growth, just that new assessed value in a TIF area. So this chart, I think, does a good job of kind of showing what those TIF dollars look like. So if you look there at the bottom, you see that gray box at the bottom that's spanning from years, -5 all the way up to 25, which is what a typical TIF runs. That base AV is the AV that was there prior to the TIF being established. So if before the TIF was established, the assessed value of all the properties in that area was $100,000, that's the base AV. When I talk about neutralizations, if it grows 3% each year, the base would then grow the next year to 103,000, and then it would grow again by another 3%. So that base AV can change and will change based on trending. However, the incremental AV, which is that kind of teal triangle there, that incremental AV is going to be the new development that happens in there. So again, if that base AV was 100,000 and you have a company that comes in and builds $100,000, obviously I'm just using small numbers for ease of math. So if you have a new company that comes in, builds a $100,000 property on top of the 100,000, so your base AV is still that $100,000, but the incremental AV is the new $100,000 by the new developer. So the TIF is only going to capture that second $100,000, not the base AV of $100,000. So that's where the green is the new property taxes on just that $100,000. That red box off to the side illustrates what happens when the TIF expires. Currently for Edinburgh, your TIFs don't have an expiration date because the expiration date is based on the issuance of debt. So the issuance of debt hasn't happened for Edinburgh, so therefore there is no expiration date at this time. Once the debt is issued, it will be 25 years after the debt is when it will expire. And I'll wait until the train goes by so that it doesn't interrupt the important parts. So the red box, as I said, that's what happens after it expires. So you'll see gray box, base AV, green, TIF AV. Once it expires, all of the overlapping units, so that's going to include the library, the school, the county, all of those overlapping units, then get that AV added to their AV that they already have. So once it expires, everybody gets the AV, and it all starts going to the individual units rather than the RDC collecting those dollars. Does that make sense? I know it's a little convoluted, but. Sorry, this PDF is cooperating. So again, I kind of mentioned the purpose of TIF. The purpose of TIF is to finance incentives or infrastructure needs that can induce private investment. So if you have an investor that wants to come in and maybe they want to build something but they can't afford the infrastructure costs that it would entail, whether that's water, sewer, roads, anything like that. The TIF can be used to incentivize that development by using those TIF funds to build that infrastructure, or at least assist with that infrastructure. And you can issue debt against those TIF funds to help do that infrastructure quicker. So essentially, you would be pledging your TIF dollars that you're going to bring in on an annual basis to say, hey, we're going to make loan payments or debt payments with these funds that we're bringing in. It can also be used to encourage orderly economic growth in those target areas, so in those allocation areas, what they're actually called, and it can also help redevelop blighted areas. This is just a list of the members for 2025. This is where the actual TIF April 15th report starts. So we have to list out all of the different commission members. Note that there are no employees that are under the RDC. Here we have a list of the allocation areas. So as you know, you have 4, the Center Cross allocation, which is along the 252 corridor, the downtown development, which is the downtown area plus a few properties on the outskirts of that. The I-65 allocation area, which is obviously over in Shelby County by I-65, and the US 31 allocation area, which is kind of in the industrial area, kind of industrial up through like JC area. So we get into the finances, which again, as of 12/31/2025, for 2025, the Center Cross Street allocation area brought in about $2,000. This is the first year that it started to bring in funds. There was like a $21 distribution like 8 years ago or something that I'm not ever sure why it came in, but it did. So this is really the first year that distributions have started happening for the Center Cross allocation area. Downtown development, same thing, is just now starting to collect funds that can be used. They received $5,200 in 2025. I-65 has yet to bring in any funds as there hasn't been any development in that area. I believe that whole tip area is like 4 or 5 parcels, maybe. They're big, large, like agricultural, and then maybe the gas station right there. So it's not a lot of parcels, but it's a large area. And then US 31 has been generating funds for the last 5 or 6 years. Last year it brought in $72,130. No expenditures, no grants, no loans, and no TIF distributed to other units. Here we have the fund balances. As I said, Center Cross and Downtown, this is kind of the first year they've been bringing any funds in. So you have a balance of $2,000 and $5,000 respectively in those two. And then US 31 does have a balance now of about $232,000, an actual balance of $232,000 with another estimated, I'd have to look at the other report that we provided, but I think 2026 revenues were actually projected to be higher than what the 2025 were. So I would expect to see the ending balance of 2026 well over $300,000. So there is finally some funding in there that can be used to help with that redevelopment. As I said, no debt payments. None of these are housing TIFs, so this section doesn't apply. No additional notes. So if you have any questions, we have to answer. If not, this will be presented again to the council in the meeting following. Again, that is a requirement that it get presented to council as well.
Do we need to vote on anything to approve this, Dustin?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve Baker Tilly's 2025 TIF management report.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like every time there's a new layer of TIF that gets unveiled a little bit more, so it's always helpful to hear this.
$115, $117 East Main Cross.
So wanted to bring up this property because this is what TIF funds can help with. One of them was, as Scott had on the report, blighted area. The other is just redevelopment. Looking at, and Scott, correct me if I'm wrong. So, I mean, losing a building anywhere in a TIF district is going to be a negative hit to.
Yeah, one of the negative parts
Yes.
is typically so if you have a parcel that the base AD was say $100,000 again, and now that parcel has decreased in AD to $50,000. That $50,000 is decreasing your overall of your other properties would have to increase by more than $50,000 for it to ever generate the additional AV. So there are ways, or switch keys sometimes, you can go in and take out those negative parcels, that would have to go through the council to remove those parcels that are bringing the AV down. There's a political side to that, if you look at the picking and choosing the parcels, but ultimately we're picking and choosing the parcels in the favorite district as well. So, yeah, the negative parcels, anything that's going to affect the AV, it can be put out and down.
So possibly 115, we need to take out where the empty lot,
So take out the tip.
take out of the tip.
Yeah.
Is that,
If that's
should we?
I haven't looked at each, we typically look at those when we do the tip realizations. I didn't work on the actual report last year, so I don't know exactly what address it is, but they stand out pretty clear when you look at which ones are in
And when would we need to do that?
there.
When?
I don't know that there's necessarily a time frame that it has to be done. I mean, it's going to take some time to actually do, because there's steps involved in changing those documents, with ordinances and resolutions and things like that, and have to go before the council. They have to go before the RDC and the council. So it's not an overnight thing, but I don't know if there's necessarily a deadline. It would all depend on when the parcel was moved, when it was then assessed again to start.
Making a difference.
So, if it's assessed in 2026, you wouldn't see anything until 2027. So if it's already been assessed in 2026, the earliest it would be possible to be able to see the difference would be when it's assessed.
Again, yeah.
On the other side of that, if money was used to mitigate the blight of that area and increase the value, that would only help our funding for the TIF district. So instead of just taking it out, we could also invest in it, which is the goal of this money, to try to bring the value back up.
Yeah, it's not like that property can't become a positive parcel.
Right.
That if improvements are done to that building, then obviously the AV goes up. And any improvements in the capture that you know.
So do you have a proposal for us?
So I wanted to really see, because I know we talked about this last time, and I had a number that was given on helping with the building at 117, and it was a pretty substantial amount, and it was most of what that report was, and so there really wasn't a feeling for being able to help out in that capacity. I don't know if that has changed for anyone, or if that's something, we had a meeting this morning with Baker Tilly to actually talk about housing, TIF for housing and residential TIF. And then we started talking about other areas, other opportunities. And this would have to be something where the property owner would have to consent and want to work with us on that. But something that neighboring communities do, and something that Baker Tilly was talking about is pretty successful, is basically a reimbursement. So it's not like we would just be giving someone a blank check and saying, fix this property. It would be a reimbursement that could be possibly a match with someone like Indiana Landmarks or another, nonprofit that could help get this building. My fear is we're going to lose another downtown building if some intervention isn't done, or if no intervention is done, then that's just what we run the risk for. And, I'll be honest, talking to some folks in the county, there's, downtown is really where the destination comes. That's why we're putting in the plaza. That's why we're working on getting the Edinburgh Main Street going. And if we just let this crumble and let downtown die, I just don't see.
Have you
I should-
talked to Christina?
I have, yes.
So what's her take on this?
Good question. I think it's just been a series of unfortunate issues with the building.
But
Yeah.
it's her building.
Yeah, yep, agree.
I probably shouldn't have done it.
Dustin's not here to slap you.
I would say that if anybody has a plan, or if she wanted to come before us with a plan to do a grant match or something, we're always willing to listen.
I think that was our thing in the past. There was really, even before that building started to crumble, there was no plan for that building. And there has been no plan for years for that building.
I mean, I would love to help preserve a building, but unless I have something in front of me to vote on,
Exactly.
I just,
I agree.
I can't give you an opinion of whether or not we wanna, go that route. But I would say if someone came before us and they said, well, I'm getting a $50,000 grant from so-and-so and I need this much, and this is my plan
And
for the
something
building.
to do with that, I mean, a business or
I'm all about helping,
Or- something that would attract people to downtown to go to that business.
There needs to be a buy-in with somebody else, not just us.
yeah. And I would want something in front of me to vote on.
Exactly.
So,
I
or
agree.
to at least have more discussion points.
I agree.
I have a hard time, people that purchase these buildings and don't want to do one thing. You can go overseas and buy that. But you don't want to fix your own business.
Well, we do have some business owners that put a lot of money into the building, so.
Well, not all.
Yeah, yeah. And
Which,
that's-
yeah, I mean, I see where Debbie's coming from on that, because, I mean, we're all homeowners. You own your home, you maintain it. Some of us have owned businesses in town.
And you
Yeah.
don't, I don't mind
Yeah,
people that honestly can't do anything. She knew there was no insurance on the building.
Well, either way, I mean, I think as far as like discussion, I mean, we're always willing to look at something, but we have to have something to look at. So.
Yeah. So if this group would be willing to entertain, I can open up that conversation with her and get a proposal and talk to some others that could help match. And again, it would be a reimbursement for this group, so there would be skin in the game from all parties involved. But I think there would have to be, and we could look up and, maybe Dustin already has something. I know Franklin Development Corporation utilizes, similar models, but to where there's strings attached. So it's not just, because that's one of the problems now, even with Indiana Landmarks and the facade grants, where those can be done for, any building downtown, but there's no strings attached on whether or not that building is activated. And we have over half of our downtown buildings that are not activated. I do know, and, there's several that could attest to this, that sometimes people purchase these buildings and, they're over 150 years old, and the need in them is a lot more than people realize the maintenance is. We've seen many examples of that downtown. But I think we're at risk of losing another one if.
I don't want to lose the building.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody can put something in front of us, then, I mean, I think it's worth. putting
What,
on the
what,
agenda.
what are people saying so far? Does it look like the building is repairable?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think so. I think that there's been at least one construction group, one GC that's taken a look at it that would maybe even mean taking down the whole wall and rebuilding it. Or, I even talked about the community center and even downtown where the King was, these bricks are very porous and they're starting to bow out. We have it again on the community center in a place. And a few years ago, what they did was basically just remove those bricks from that area and then concrete it. And that's why we have that mural on Walnut Street to just help beautify that. So,
And it's one of those things with a plan that comes in. Exterior plan, I'm assuming, but we don't know that. Exactly what we can visually see what needs to be
Yeah.
done,
and
but
so-
architecturally, what needs to be done.
And I think I still think along with that, along with the proposal to fix the building, is some type of proposal about what they want that building to be.
Yep, no, I agree. I
Agreed.
mean,
We need a future. If we're gonna put money into that building, we need to see the future.
but I would say that with anything that we bring to the table, I
Yes.
would just rather see something more substantial to discuss
Mhm,
that we can actually make decisions on, or,
mhm.
because we can sit here and project all night long, you know, why it is the way it is, or what it needs, or what it doesn't need, but if we got it in front of us, then we can get emotional about it.
Mhm. Okay, well, it sounds like everyone's on the same page then, so.
Is that it?
Got one more thing.
Read 2.0 arts and culture proposal.
This, I actually just wanted to give an update to the group. I know the last time I talked about the Pixie Theater and how there's a group working to acquire that building. There is actively an application right now going, being submitted. The deadline's April 15th for the Ready 2.0, and this is the arts and culture proposal. So just, it's in this district, and would be a huge catalyst for some economic development in downtown, hopefully help us in the long run. So just wanted to give everyone an update that there is progress being made on that.
Any open discussion? Did you have something?
Oh, I just wanted to hear and learn everything your stands with town hall meeting. I own Cliffs right next door to that building.
Okay.
So,
What's your name, Mickey?
Lynn,
Lynn, that's what I wrote down, but I thought I'd verify it.
yeah, and yes, I think she should maybe sell the building to a not-for-profit and let them activate it somehow.
Yeah. Well, hopefully a game plan comes up soon, so, before it's too late, like Sarah Beth said, and I'm all about, like the, just have
Something
somebody
on
get stuff
paper
in
and
front of us.
pictures and yeah.
Okay.
That's good. Anything else, Dustin, or not Dustin, Scott? Anything else?
Nothing for me. That's all good discussion. Just like Sarah Beth said, if we do something, I can do the legal requirements to tie it to make sure it's done the right way and there's strings attached to it, so you guys know what you're getting into.
Thank you.
That would be
Thanks.
helpful.
Motion to adjourn? Alfred?
Wait a minute, so Karen made the motion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then-
Debbie second.
Okay, all right, and I.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Dustin.